Scoop and y'all, we got it. 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 Scoop and y'all, we got it.
That's how we go. This is how it games the press pro. That's how we go. This is how it games the press pro. That's how we go. This is how it games the press pro. That's how we go. This is how it games the press pro. And now, get ready for Ginger Caskins and Lloyd Spence, the press and the pros. Let's go.
Before we get into like being on the screen, if you're watching this on YouTube, Facebook, or LinkedIn, the title of the episode captures it perfectly. How you get fired on your day off?
I guess they have video of him stealing boxes.
Apparently so.
Calvin Booth submitted the video.
Right, and then got fired for submitting the video. I don't know. Anyway, that's Kendrick Haskins. He's been doing this a long time. I'm not even going to keep saying the year because every time I do it, it just makes it sound old. Not that the gray hair wasn't an indicator. But I'm
my hide all, man.
Right. I'm Lloyd Spence. This is the Press and the Pros. We hopefully can take you behind the scenes or take you into an experience with the NBA that you may or may not be having on the internet. And hopefully you're having a lot of fun as well. So that's our only goal, is just to have fun doing what we're doing. So let's just jump right into it. The headline is very clear here. There really is no hot take to this. This is just what it is. The Nuggets woke up and chose violence yesterday. The owner, John Kroenke is his name?
Is it Kroenke?
Kroenke.
Mm-hmm.
Decided to have a meeting. I guess he was fed up with whatever. And so he brought in, much like a high school principal, brought in Mike Malone and had a meeting about Calvin Booth. Then he brought in Calvin Booth and had a meeting about Mike Malone. And then decided at the end of the meeting he was going to fire both of them. And his reasoning was, I just feel like we need to be able to fire them now so that we can have a strong push to win this year. Okay.
It seems like through my years that if that's the case, you want to have a strong push towards the playoffs and you want to win this year, and you're going to get rid of someone, you just get rid of the GM because they have nothing to do with the on-court day-to-day operations.
Listen. What what I'm not going to do today with you is apply any logic to you. All right, be very clear. Of course, it makes sense to fire the guy who is the winningest coach in Denver's history and brought you your one and only title. That makes total sense.
That one and only title that was just what 2 years ago, 3 years ago.
2 years ago. And from what I heard this morning, according to Brian Windhurst at ESPN, one of the reasons why he fired him now is because, wait for it, he didn't want him to have success because then he couldn't be able to fire him later. So to review, he fired him so he wouldn't win, but you want to fire him so you can win.
That's the Jedi mind trick.
I see it. I get it. Listen. I am on board. Listen, this is very Jameis Winston-esque. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but it's wildly entertaining. That's the Jameis Winston comparison. Doesn't necessarily make sense, but it's wildly entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't know. So I have to ask this question to you, Kendrick, because it's the next logical question. Can the Nuggets make an actual title run?
And this is where it I'm not going to say justifies it, but it kind of justifies it. They weren't going to make a run this year.
I don't think so. Right.
The West is too stacked. They're too inconsistent.
And not healthy.
And not healthy. Jamal Murray's been in and out. Aaron Gordon's been in and out.
Aaron Gordon,
yeah. Michael Porter's been in and out. I mean, only one who's been healthy has been the Joker. So they weren't going to make a run. But the reasons they're not making a run is not because of the structure of the team. They're not going to make a run because of the injuries. They're too injured.
Well, it depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
Because I did do a deep dive, which I had not even heard. Listen, the one reason why most of the media has been caught off guard by this is because Mike Malone says a lot of goofy stuff all the time. He says a lot of inflammatory stuff towards his team all the time. So we just thought it was white noise. Most of us thought it was white noise. Oh, they're not giving an effort. Oh, they're not doing this. They're not. They
don't watch tape.
They don't watch the tape. Right. That's like the recurring speech that he gives all the time when he wants them to play better. Mike Malone plays I'm gonna use the media game all the time. So this was nothing new until yesterday. So now you got to go back and listen to some of those speeches and go, so were they upset at this? And here's the other thing. Of course, Jokic knows. Of course, he gets a call. Hey, man, just want to give you a heads up. On Wednesday, when you have your game, you're going to spend about 30 minutes answering questions as to why Mike Malone has been fired and Calvin Booth. I just want to give you. They probably didn't consult him at all. But you let your star know, or stars know, that this is going to go down. Do you think he was on board with this? Because this is the only coach he's ever played for. This is the only coach he's ever known. And he's had tremendous success with this coach, i.e. 3 MVPs and a title.
Joker does not strike me as one who wants to get involved in it.
No, not at all.
So he was just he probably just said, okay, whatever. Because Jokic is in charge of him having 60-point triple doubles. So I think he's probably just like, whatever. I don't want to deal with that part of it. I just want to go play ball. He's like KD. He just want to hoop. And sometimes you wonder how much he really wants to hoop. He doesn't give off that he really wants to hoop either. But
because if he had a choice between hooping and horses, I think horses would win every single time.
Yeah, so he just doesn't strike me as the type that was going to really get too involved in it. He just wants to go out there and play basketball.
Kendrick, this is unbelievable. This is a wow. So and now everything's coming out. Now Jamal Murray and the coach didn't get along. Now it's all these different people who had problems within the team. There was one time they had a team meeting, and instead of responding or arguing with the coach, no one said
No one
anything.
said anything. Yeah.
Right. So which by the way could be an indicator, because it's one thing to respond because you all care about the same thing. It's another thing altogether to not say anything because we don't give a damn about what you're talking about.
But the thing is, though, it's not like that situation just popped up. It's been like that long enough to where you could have made this move. Because really, really, more and more it's coming out, and more. I could kind of see where they would go in a different direction. I told you that yesterday. I was like, I could kind of see that coming. I thought it would come at the end of the season if you're going to wait till March or April to make the move. But I could kind of see it coming because of the way they were playing down the stretch. Them in Memphis have been train wrecks since the All-Star break.
Man.
And so, I mean, Memphis is falling all the way down to the play-in, which is crazy.
Right.
And prayers up for Jalen Wells. But
yeah, that was crazy last night.
And he only came out of that with a broken wrist. That's crazy.
I know. It looked far worse than that.
Yeah. But those two organizations were right up there around the top. I think Memphis was the number 2 seed at one point.
So
and I think Denver was right there.
Let's go ahead. Yeah, I was gonna say let's go ahead and bring that in. So the Thunder, obviously the best in the NBA, then the Rockets, then the Lakers, the Clippers. So the Nuggets have fallen to the 5th as of last night. Now this is all as of last night.
If you listen to Wendy, he was saying they were actually the 5th seed even when they were the 3rd seed.
Well,
because of the tiebreaker situation.
I was gonna say actually it's worse than that. So according to the tiebreakers, and again, it takes Brian Windhurst, nerd that he is, God bless him, for doing it for us. It makes our job easier. But according to him, if things play out where they currently are, the Nuggets are actually in the tiebreaker because the Timberwolves own the tiebreaker over them. Mm-hmm. So if they all ended with the same record, which we don't anticipate that will happen, but it could, you never know. Mm-hmm. And there definitely could be some tiebreakers in here. That is probably more likely that there may be at least 1 or 2 tiebreakers in here. But the Timberwolves own, I weirdly enough, they own like the tiebreakers over a lot of these guys. So it's really Thunder,
they played
Rockets,
great the second
Lakers,
half of the season.
Clippers, right. So it's really the order is Thunders, Rockets, Lakers, Clippers,
Timberwolves,
Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
I think they own the tiebreaker over the Warriors, or one of them. I forget who owns the tiebreaker in that one. So the Nuggets are actually technically in the play-in game.
Mm-hmm.
So according to the tiebreakers, if they played out as they are currently where they are right now, so it's a weird situation, and the Nuggets have the Kings left on the road, the Grizzlies at home, and the Rockets, which is not conducive for a coach who has never sat in a head coaching position ever in his life to step into and now have to. He's the guy that has to hold the ship together.
Yeah, because the Kings are still sneaky good. Are they still in the play-in game scenario?
The Kings are locked in to at least the 9th, though they could fall to the 10th, but they won't. It's either going to be 9 or 10 for them.
So it doesn't really matter for them. So they
doesn't really matter.
There could be they could sit people. You could see that happening maybe, but the game doesn't really mean much for the Kings at that point. So you may be okay there, but those last two, with the Grizzlies still fighting for trying to get out of the play-in, and the Rockets still trying to hold on to that number 2 seed, depending on what happens with the Lakers, they're gonna have some real tough tests in those last 2 games to end the regular season.
Well, here's the challenge of all 3 games. The only thing that the Kings are truly playing for is to keep the 9 so that they can get that game in their building. If they don't win that game, or if they don't win out, then they're going to have to go to Dallas, which they don't want to do. And because they already got to play 2 games regardless.
Right.
So if they can at least get one of those games at home, that helps with, rest and travel and routine and all those different things. So I think they're going to go hard in the paint tonight and try to win this game against what would have to be a tumultuous Nuggets team. I can't imagine they're going to walk into that building today and everything's just going. And by the way, if you think changing the voice at this late in the season is not a problem, you don't understand sports at all.
Who took over? I still hadn't seen. Is it Adelman?
It's Adelman. Adelman, the son of Rick Adelman. He's going to take over. I think he's been coaching all of about an hour and a half in general, and it's just a weird situation. I got now. Here's what makes it interesting for me. I do wonder if Nikola Jokic, because he just wants to play basketball, if he's not going to, at the end of all this, go, you know what? I just want to go somewhere where I can play basketball. I don't care about. Now, I could easily see them having a fire sale this summer because let's be clear, as much as I love
Well, they've hinted at that. Anyway, Michael Porter has put voice to that.
Well, but I think it might be deeper than that, bro, because I could easily see them saying, we Calvin tremendously missed on this Jamal Murray thing. $208 million, I get it, because at the time you gave it to him, he was playing at a high level. You just won a title. I get it. But if you look at the body of work and the consistency of availability, you may have overpaid. If Luka is traded because he's not available, come on. Like I
only thing with that though, because like at the time it was the right deal. You're coming off a championship, and the thing that hurt was you lost some of those other pieces. The others, like Shaq likes to call them, you lost the others because of it. But so they're gonna have to tear it all down anyway because of the new apron and all that stuff, which gets way too technical for my pre-brain. Right. But they were going to have to tear it down at the end of the season anyway, and so Jokic is going to get the supermax regardless. I mean, he's not going anywhere. But the rest of the team, I think Brown probably sticks around. You and I have hinted about trading Murray for Ja, which I don't think they're going to do it because they still have two near. I mean, the salaries will even out, but you still have those salaries. So you can trade Jamal and get draft picks. That's the new cash in the NBA right now. Stu's building up draft picks like the Thunder did. So I think you probably have Jokic probably. I think Aaron Gordon's probably. I don't know. He may be gone.
He might be gone. Because you can't pay everybody. Gone. Who's that?
I think Michael Porter Jr. is definitely gone.
I think he's already just got a U-Haul that he purchased sitting in the back of his house just for emergency purposes. The only thing I can say about Jokic, I don't think Jokic is gone. It would be
no, that's
if you
not.
thought the Luka trade was crazy, the Jokic whatever would be insane. However, he might say, I don't want to do this. He might say that. That'd be the only reason he'd leave. He might say, I'm so over it. But I don't think he will, because I think I go back to what you said in that personality-wise, he strikes me as the kind of guy that I just listen. Y'all take care of all that foolishness. Whoever you put on this court with me, I'll play with them, and I'll make them better, and we'll be fine.
And the Supermax, he's not going anywhere.
Right. And he has not got his Supermax yet.
And nobody's turning that down.
Well, it's hard to. As much as he wants to finance his horsing career, I would have to believe he's going to stay and make this work. But this is a wild circumstance in that so early, I won't hold you to a prediction for the Nuggets is what? Play-in? Like it is going to be the play-in? I find it difficult to believe that they're going to survive all 3 games.
Right. I think they beat the Kings and probably lose.
Yeah.
The next 2.
I can see that. I can honestly see them losing.
Memphis is Memphis is so up and down. You never know what's going to happen with Memphis.
They are, but it's worse than that because now you got to go face both these teams without the right voice in your ear or the right strategist, and we don't know.
Oh, we don't know. He
Allen
might
is.
be. He ain't. I
might
mean,
be.
he is Rick Adelman's kid. Rick Adelman was a successful coach, so
He was.
he might be okay.
He was.
But and he's been there, so I don't. I mean, they're not going to totally change the system. The system's going to be the system, and so
It is, but it's the interpretation of the nuances. You know this. It's the nuances that get weird, and one guy has mastered that, and the other guy has never done it.
right.
So, and we all got to trust that you know what you're doing. And now, this is gonna sound horrible. All right, I'm telling you in advance. What I'm about to say is gonna sound horrible. And now you could possibly have an unhinged Russell Westbrook.
That's probably beyond possible. That's probably you probably just could have left it. If we're gonna have an unhinged.
I'm just saying. I just feel like this could end bad, and they're in the play-in game. Now, it's not inconceivable to think that they're not going to win all three games. But they're not the only ones fighting for their playoff lives right now. And these guys aren't fighting for their playoff lives, but they're fighting
for that 2 seed.
Yeah. Right. Well, the 2's over. That's over. It's done.
Right.
But because they're 4 games out with 3 left, they're not getting the 2 seed. But they can get the 3 seed, and they just need 2 wins to do it. Or they need a win and other losses, which are reasonable to think that they can.
Yeah, I think they're going to get the 3 seed. Really and truly, I think they're going to win all 3 of those games. And so I think that'll be fine.
I think so too. I think tonight they're playing actually really, really good ball. Last night's game notwithstanding, the weirdness of last night's game notwithstanding, which was crazy. And by the way, let me say this. Let me just say this for free. Whoever these referees are for the NCAA championship games and also for these NBA games we've seen the last 3 or 4 weeks, let's not use them for the playoffs. Because we need the games to be decided with fair and balanced play, not with referees that made, even if he was talking to you, fam, you know Luka, unless he called you a bleep bleep the bleep bleep the bleep the bleep. Come on, man, get out your feelings. Get out your feelings, man. Come on, don't. And I'm not even saying that as a Laker fan. I'm saying that was a hell of a game to watch. Period. Even beyond the fandom, it's just, come on, stop. We don't need that.
Yeah, it was a great game, and then it wasn't. And part of it too is like the Lakers knew they had a back-to-back, so they pulled the starters a little earlier than they probably normally would have. And so they have and it's not only is it a back-to-back, it's a huge emotional game tonight at Dallas. And so I think JJ went into this game like, we're going to play these first 3 quarters, and we'll see what it looks like when we get to the 4th.
If I can steal it, I'll steal it.
If I can steal it, I'll steal it. But if not, then or if I can steal it, but I gotta try real hard to steal it.
Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do that.
Right. Is that one win really worth it? No. So I agree with what JJ did. They pulled the starters relatively early in that game.
If I'm being completely honest, which I always am, didn't even think they'd play. I thought they would sit this one out. I thought the point had been proven. And so why give them any more footage if
Rookie
you don't have
coach.
to? Yeah.
Rookie coach.
No problem. I get it. I understand. You're just doing what you do. So it'll be interesting to see what tonight looks like. I fully expect them to win this game. The Rockets game, I think they're going to win it, not necessarily because they're just going to play so much better, but I just don't see the Rockets caring. At this point, I would be stunned if Ime plays anybody. Like, why would you do that? Like, why keep mucking around with it? But
and then the Blazers are the Blazers.
Right, and then the Blazers are going to be the Blazers. So, and you only need 2. So if you get the Mavs game and the Rockets game, you don't play the Blazers game.
No.
So which is probably what they're leaning towards anyway. So
Right.
that's what's going on with the Lakers. They're fighting for the number 3. The Clippers currently, as it sits today, in this 4-way, and you might as well say 5-way tie because Minnesota's only a game out.
Mm-hmm.
They're in the 4 spot, and they will get it if they basically win out. So they have. Who do they have left? I did not. That was the one team I don't think I put their remaining stuff out. So let me pull up their schedule and see who they have left. They have Oh, 3 games. Oh wow. Houston tonight, Sacramento on Friday, and Golden State on Sunday. And the 2 games on this weekend are on the road. Not the most ideal way to end the season.
Right.
Wow. That is not great. But I mean, that's their schedule. So I guess we're gonna find out, which is that explains why they set Kawhi last night. Kawhi did not play, so I guess they wanted him fresh for this Houston game.
Mm-hmm.
Which they will need him for this Houston game if Houston decides to play it out. Now that will also be interesting because again, Houston clinched last night. They are done as far as what they are playing for. So they may be like, you know what? Whatever tonight. So I don't know.
I mean, they may play tonight just for cardio's sake, being in shape. You don't want to rest them too long. So they'll either play tonight or they'll take off tonight and then play the next game. But I don't see them really like just completely sitting people with this many games left.
I think
because they also going to have to wait through the play-in. So
yeah. I think it's more likely that they play tonight. They may play all the way through, just not with tremendous intent.
Mm-hmm.
Like I just don't see them coming out saying we're going hard and we're going to try to win this game at all costs. No, why? For what? Like it doesn't matter at this point.
Right.
They're locked in. So now a team that is not locked in is the Warriors. They are in the 6th spot. They have an outside chance to move higher, but I think their path to the 4 or 5 is conducive of the Clippers or Nuggets, which I think we've already said we think the Nuggets are going to kind of tank out. I don't believe they have. So the Warriors have, who do they have left? They have let's see here. The Warriors have, I think they have a really good schedule. You're right. They got San Antonio and Portland and the Clippers at home. That's not bad.
They can win out.
They can win out.
They probably should win out.
Yeah.
I mean, the way they played last night, they're gonna.
Right.
That game was over in the second quarter.
Yeah. The way that they're
Against
playing,
Phoenix.
they should win out because there's nobody to necessarily stop them from winning out. So I could see them coming back and getting. I think it's more likely that the Warriors are going to either stay in that 6th spot or possibly move to that 5th, because the Timberwolves is the one that's really also equally as interesting, because they, first of all, shocked that they lost that game last night, up 24, and just the bottom fell out with the Bucks, and they just completely lost. But having said that, they got Memphis, Brooklyn, and Utah left.
Yeah.
That should be 3-0.
Memphis game will be tough, but Brooklyn and Utah.
Right. Yeah.
Brooklyn's been playing hard.
They have.
At the end of the season. They got old man Timmy in there playing a lot.
Yeah.
He's from Gonzaga. He's like 35-year-old rookie. But they've been playing tough. But yeah,
they have been playing tough, and they'll have one of the, I think they got one of the feature games on Thursday. I think they play on TNT. I think they opened the night up on TNT on Thursday.
Out that Grizzlies game.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I I think it's gonna go Lakers. I think we didn't check the Clippers. Let's just for integrity purposes, we'll check the Clippers' final games as well. Uh,
Oh, we did.
did we check the Clippers? What did we say?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Houston sack. Oh yeah. I think the Clippers. It's more likely that the Clippers are going to fall out.
I don't know. They're playing really well right now.
They are.
It is
but
crazy how much they've flown under the radar.
Listen, they are. They actually have the longest winning streak in the conference right now at 5 games. I just don't know if I believe they can win the last 3. Like, well, again though, it all depends on how people choose to approach it. If people are going to go in and be like, because I know Golden State's going to play. They got to play. They don't have no choice. So they're going to have to play that game. That's probably the one for sure that they're going to lose. I don't know. I'm going to say Clippers 5, Warriors 6, and the Timberwolves, because of the nature of their schedule, they jump everybody to get to the 4. And then that leaves Memphis, the Nuggets, Sacramento, and the Mavs in the play-in. If you're the Nuggets, don't you want to just like end this thing and just go home and regroup?
The players probably do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm wondering what the effort is going to actually be with the Nuggets because
we'll find out a lot tonight. They play tonight, right?
They play tonight against
find out a lot
the
tonight.
Spurs. Yeah, I think they have the Spurs tonight. It will be interesting to see how they handle it. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. You may not find out much tonight. Well, because I mean, Spurs
we'll
are
find
selling
out something
themselves.
Tonight.
Yeah, if they lose to the Spurs, then yeah, they're done.
Yeah, because Spurs have no one. They're playing no one.
They have no one, and yeah, I mean, Wemby's out, Fox is out. They're just kind of playing out the string at this point.
Right. So, in the East, far less drama. It's over. It's been decided. Everyone's in their place.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. There's nothing to be gained. Maybe.
Is there some jockeying between 3, 4, and 5? How close are those races?
I mean, the Knicks and the Pacers are 2 games out from each other technically. Yeah. The 5 is 3 games out from Indiana. It's pretty much done. Like maybe some people lose out. Maybe I doubt it. The only thing really left to decide is whether Chicago's going to be a 9 or a 10.
Are the Heat locked in at the 10?
They're in for sure. Yeah,
okay.
They're in at the 10 for sure. They could technically move up to the 9, maybe even the 8, possibly. But a lot would have to happen for that to happen. Like Chicago would have to lose and some other things would have to happen. So, but for the most part, everybody's in. They've already set the whole thing. So there's not a whole lot to discuss there. So, your thoughts. What do you think is going to happen in the West? I gave you my opinion. What is your opinion as to what do you think is going to happen?
I think the Lakers are pretty much set at that 3 seed.
Okay.
The 4, who's the 4?
I was. It's funny you said that because as I was saying, I said I should probably pull it up so you can see it at least. There you go.
Clippers are probably going to get that 4 seed. I think it's going to come down to the Clippers and Golden State. I think that game might end up being huge when they play each other.
Yeah.
And then I can see Minnesota jumping up to the 6 seed. Because I think the 4 and the 5. I think the 4 and the 5 is going to likely be the Clippers and Golden State.
Yeah, that's right.
And then, depending on the tiebreakers, it's either going to be Minnesota or Denver, and then the Grizzlies.
The Grizzlies got some bad games. Like they got to fight They're the dude in the Five Heartbeats trying to protect his wife. All my every night I got to prove my love. So
They do
I
it to
don't know if they do.
themselves.
Oh, it's very much self-inflicted. Very much. Very much self-inflicted, but they definitely got a fight to get in. It's not they're not in a good spot to be closing out the year. And then to have a Ja Morant who is healthy-ish.
He's healthy.
Well, I mean, they keep sitting him for different spells, so I don't know.
Well, since Tyler Jenkins got fired, he hadn't sat.
What was that about? Why do these guys hate their coaches so? Like, I can understand hating Mike Malone a little bit though.
Yeah, I can see where he can be great, but Tyler Jenkins seems like a nice guy.
He seemed like he was a good dude. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Memphis. I root for them cause of Ja, but they drive me crazy. So
yeah,
but shout out to Jaren Jackson because he's had a fantastic season this year.
I love Jaren Jackson. If I'm being completely transparent and honest, which I try to be, I wish he was playing somewhere else. Because I think he gets overshadowed. Because if we're being listen,
But he's an all-star this year.
Here's the truth about Jaren Jackson. Over the last 3 years, he is the glue that has kept it all together, without question. And he never gets credit for it. They'll say Desmond Bain's name. I've heard Dylan Brooks' name. I've heard everybody's name except his. And he is the only consistency that they've had. He doesn't get hurt. He doesn't miss a whole lot of games. And he's going to give you 20 and 10. Pretty much night in and night out.
He was hurt a lot last season. But to your point, yeah, he's been the most consistent player. I mean, listen, he was an all-star this year, so he's getting some credit. And I had the pleasure of meeting him over the summer because he was in town for D'Angelo Russell's camp.
Oh,
and
okay.
Super nice kid. I mean, he's
D'Angelo
just
Russell?
Yeah.
Okay.
And D'Lo brings in. D'Lo might be crazy to everybody else, but D'Lo brings in some good players for his camp.
Got you. Okay. I just didn't see that friendship, that bond.
Yeah. I mean, a couple of years ago, he had Karl Anthony Towns and Devin Booker came in.
Well, that I see. That I see because of
he played with him. Yeah.
Right. And they played together. Yeah. So I
he had Karis LeVert in 1 year. Yeah, he
Brooklyn.
Great.
They played in Brooklyn. Yeah. Right.
This may have been before, because Karis was with the Pacers at the time.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I can't remember. I can't keep.
I can't remember either.
But yeah, so I mean, but he brings in good players that you want to see and you want to meet. So yeah, so shout out to him. But yeah, so Jaren was in last year, and he's just a big goofy kid. He's just a big kid, and it's funny because he's so big. But
he's a massive human.
Yeah, he's just
sneaky. He is sneaky big. Like he's much bigger than you think he is.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. And much stronger than you think he is.
Yeah. He's just a goofy, fun-loving kid. Though he out of everybody there, I think he had more fun than anybody, including the kids, because he's having a blast. And so
he looks like he's having a good time all the time. Like that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm for a culture change, because if you can build a team around him and Desmond Bain, and by the way, could totally see a scenario where Mike Malone is the head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies.
Oh yeah,
if I'm
totally
the Memphis Grizzlies, that's my
then
first
they
call.
need to jump all over that. Yes.
Yeah, that's my first call, because he'd be perfect there.
I wonder how much him and Ja will get along though.
Well, listen, we've already floated the conversation about there's a guy in Denver that he absolutely loves. That trade becomes far more realistic if Mike Malone is in Memphis. I could see that happening for sure at that point.
Well, but they didn't get along.
He loved. Well, if you believe that, I don't know what's real coming out now, because it's coming out now. Now all of a sudden everybody hated everybody. So I don't know if this is spin or if this is real. If they had some real beef. Now, could I absolutely see Russell Westbrook and Mike Malone not getting along? 1,000%.
Oh God,
Russell doesn't get along with anybody.
Well, Ja is rush-ish. His game is certainly definitely like Russell Westbrook, except he's smaller.
You had to kill the dream. You had to kill the dream. You killed the dream just like that. That is true. What you just said is very, very true. I don't know. To me, Mike Malone makes a ton of sense. It is the most logical thing. Maybe they just flip flop. Maybe they take Taylor and they get Mike and everybody's happy. Everybody wins.
I don't know about Taylor going to Denver, but if I'm Memphis, yeah, I hop all over Mike Malone. And
who would you get for Denver then, if not Taylor? Another retread.
I guess you can kind of see what Adelman does in these few games and give him a tryout if you want to keep the system the same.
How old is Adelman?
But
he can't be that old.
He's been around. It feels like he has been around for a minute as an assistant coach. But like I said, if I'm Memphis, I jump all over that because I mean you can bring in.
Oh, he's 43. Wow.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, he'd been around. If you bring in a champion coach into that, and let's be honest, Mike Malone, he'd fit in the city of Memphis. If you get what I mean.
I absolutely get what you mean. That's what I'm saying. He's the perfect hire.
Yeah. Yes.
They would love him. They would embrace him. He would never have to pay for barbecue ever. He's perfect.
And he could talk ish with the best of them. And so
yes.
that might be where him and Ja bond. I mean, Ja's over here yelling at people when Jalen Wells is down on the floor. I'm like, dude, calm down. So
you saw the grenade throw last night, right?
Yes.
Can't fire the gun, so I'll just throw a grenade. Like, dude,
just stop.
Why?
That's that young stuff, though. I mean, it's just he's young, but at some point, this is the NBA. What it is today, there's no vets.
Yeah.
Charles Oakley would have been a strangled child by now.
100%. Vernon Maxwell would have slapped the taste out of his mouth.
I don't know Vernon. I don't know Vernon's still kind of like Ja now.
yeah, but he's a learned Ja. He's a learned Ja.
I'm thinking more like Rick Mahorn and Charles Oakley. All them dudes.
By the way, shout out to All the Smoke for hiring Vernon Maxwell permanently. That was a very savvy move.
Yes.
He is the drunk uncle at the barbecue or in the barbershop. And he is a wildly good time.
He's got stories for days.
I have yet to hear him do an interview that was not filled with MFs and F this and I love it. I don't want you speaking any other way but with the way you speak, Vernon Maxwell.
Yeah,
I love you
just
so
be
much.
Vernon Maxwell. Just be
Vernon
Mad
Maxwell,
Max.
bro. I love it. Listen, I'm here for a good time. Not a long time. I'm here for a good time for sure. So yeah, I that would be. I think Mike Malone would be perfect there. He really would. I don't know who else. I don't know what way Denver goes because I don't know what they need. They may go foreign based, like they may go somebody from a whole different situation just to placate Jokic. But I don't know. This is one of the weirdest moments.
Would they get his coach from Serbia?
Might.
I don't know.
It would cause some massive problems.
Yes.
But if you're going to reset the culture, what does it matter? If you're going to truly reset the culture, then it doesn't matter. You can get whoever you want because Michael Porter's gone, Jamal Murray may be gone. I think if they can get out of that Jamal Murray contract, I think it's the time and the moment is now.
Yeah.
Because it's just that's a lot of money to go to a guy that probably is not going to continue to be consistently healthy throughout the rest of his career. Like, you don't stop having back issues and groin issues. Like, once you start, like LeBron
and he started getting in college. He had Michael Porter had other in college.
Yeah.
He missed most of his season in Missouri because of it.
LeBron started having groin issues 4 years ago, and he's had it every year since then. some version of a groin injury every year.
And sometimes he just falls and rolls around on the floor for no reason.
Well, they all do that. I mean,
But no, come on. The other night against Golden State, you know, his own teammates are like, man, because nobody came over.
You got to sell it. You got to sell it, Kendrick.
Nobody from his team came to check on him. They just like,
You got to sell it.
The best freeze frame is like Steph kind of looking back. Like, man, he's at it again.
Really? Listen, we all have done it. We all have looked at him and said, really? Like, okay. I get it. All right. Well, we're arriving early at the other stuff today because there was really only one conversation to have, and that's how the heck did Mike Malone get fired? Which we won't know that until probably weeks from now when the rest of the story starts to continue to emerge. So give a shout out, early shout out from the press and the pros to Alex Ovechkin. I mean, and the crazy part about it is he did it in the same amount of games.
Exact same amount of games.
Wild.
That's insane. It's the exact same amount of games.
Didn't have that on my bingo card at all. Because you and I, the projection was like the 13th. I think they were saying April 13th, and you were saying like I don't even know. You like I'm not sure he'll get it. I think he will, but it'll be late. He got it in the next like 3 games. It was crazy. So man, shout out.
Can he get 1,000? Can he get to 1,000?
Ooh.
Because I think he averages between 40 and 50 a season.
He's had a hell of a season this year.
So like, it would take him to get to 1,000. It's going to take him at least 2 more seasons.
Maybe. Well, the crazy part about it is that the projection for him breaking the record was not this season. It was next season. When it started the season, they were saying he'll get closer this season, and then next season he'll break it. And he's like, nah, hold my beer. So can he get to 1,000? I think he's the kind of guy that would stay until he got it.
I don't know, because he's getting up there.
Well,
but the Caps,
he's a solid 40.
But the Caps are in contention every year, so maybe, and they are building young around it.
He might want one more ring, and he might want that 1,000 because 1,000 would make.
I'd want 1,000.
Well, it would make the record almost virtually untouchable. Like
right.
Well,
we thought it was anyway.
Right. Well, think about this: from Gordie Howe to Gretzky, I think it was like what 30, 40 years.
Something like that.
And then from Gretzky to Ovechkin, it's been like 20 plus.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's 1,000 would probably put it in a place where our great grandkids would have to break it. Like I don't know. So
yeah, I'd try to get 1,000.
I try
if he has it in him to deal with it, because hockey is brutal. So if his body can hold up to get 1,000, I think he can get it.
We will be on tomorrow live for the Believe in the ACC, and we're going to talk about the transfers and the box championships. So because we're going to do that tomorrow, I don't necessarily want to give a recap yet on the game, but I do want to ask you this question. What was the more devastating loss, Duke in the Final Four or Houston in the final game?
I say Houston. To lose without getting a shot up.
Oh.
That's Houston. At least Duke. If you're Duke, you got a shot up. Yes, you had the controversial call, but at least you got a shot.
Though. You had the lead.
So did Houston. Houston dominated that game. Houston was a better team.
Houston got the game. Houston got the game they wanted, and Florida out Houston them.
Yeah, and to not get a shot off.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's to me wild. That's worse.
We'll have more commentary tomorrow.
The flag missed the shot, but at least he got a shot.
At least he got a shot. Yeah, he got a shot. So, all right. What do you think about the pro day?
I didn't care.
I
never did.
I honestly didn't either. I will continue to maintain until they prove me wrong that the plan is and has always been to take Shedeur if he's available at number 3. But this is but let's be clear. There is virtually no way that the Giants can muck this up. They are for
They
once they
could.
are in no they're not.
They
They're not. There's
could.
no way to muck it up.
There
How
is.
can they,
There's
how
always
can they mess it up?
there's
How can they mess
always
it
a
up?
way to mess it up.
How? Just tell me how.
There's always a way.
I'm listening.
There's always they can take somebody you're not even thinking about.
They're not gonna do that. Let me be clear.
They can
Let me
draft
be
another
clear.
O line.
Where's the camera? Where's the camera? Is that the camera? There's the camera.
They
Let me
can
be
draft
very
another
clear.
O lineman. That's what they can do.
Let me be very clear.
They can
about
draft
what
Jackson
Kendrick-
Dart instead of Shadur.
Let me be
And
very
do
clear
not
about
put
what-
that past your Giants.
No, let me be very clear about what I'm going to say. First of all, Giants don't do that bad in the draft. They just end up sending the better players off to other
Danny
teams. That's
Dimes.
different.
Danny Dimes. They drafted him because they fell in love.
Listen.
Remember when he said, I fell in love. Rehire Gettleman. I need Gettleman back in your organization.
in the words of my daughters from the great movie, whatever that movie was, we don't speak about Bruno. So let me be very clear. I'm gonna look right in the camera when I say this. They're not going to do anything stupid because they can't. They can't. They can't risk anything. These guys, if they draft Jackson Dart or an offensive lineman in the number 3 spot on Thursday, they will be fired on Sunday. They will not, whoever they draft, if they do that on Thursday, they won't get to coach him because they're going to be fired. He may fire them draft day.
Nah, all jokes aside, the options that you have are really good options, and it's just going to be it's going to be interesting to see how all of that pans out. But you're right. It's well, I'm not going to say it's impossible to mess it up. Is it?
It's not impossible. Nothing's
because
impossible.
you could draft somebody and it just not work out.
Right.
So
Nothing's impossible.
But I think you are in a good position, and I do think Shadur with Neighbors would be a ridiculous combo right there.
Yeah.
And so, you have a really good chance here. And like I said, and even if it's not Shadur, I mean, there's plenty right there. Right there in that top 3, those top 5 picks right there are going to be very good players. I'm not going to say can't miss, but they're close to it.
And by the way, keep your eye on a Shadur Shiloh combination. I can see the team that drafts Shadur also drafting Shiloh.
Oh, I could totally see that.
Yeah.
Because they could get Shiloh like in the second or
4th,
third.
5th, right. Maybe.
Third. I was thinking
Shiloh
third
may
day.
drop third. Yeah.
I was thinking
Shiloh
third day.
drops
I was
4th,
thinking third
5th,
round.
100%. But it's gonna be interesting to see what they do. But the pro day was whatever. It was fine. It was fine.
I could.
There was nothing I saw in that pro day that I hadn't already seen.
And the interest in pro days I will never get. I think it's only just because it's football and people love football. And it's like there's nothing more boring than watching people not even in uniform, just in helmet and shorts, throw the ball around. It's fun. Okay.
Throw the ball around with no defense. If you're gonna impress me, let Travis cover one of those receivers and he make those throws. Now I'm interested.
Yeah.
Now I'm extremely interested. But no. Other than that,
there's stuff. That technically, like the scouts actually, and I'm sure there are little things that they're able to see without the congestion of if you're looking at one player, you don't have 21 other people in the way of your view. I get that part of it, but like the fan interest in it, I'm like, why do you care about this? You don't see anything. You do not see anything.
There's no issue whatsoever. Stephen A. Smith says he may run for president. I don't even want to deal with the lunacy of that at all. What I would like to do, though, is for us to name 5 people that we would vote for far before we ever got to Stephen A. Smith.
Dave Chappelle.
100%. Front of the line, baby.
Dave Chappelle.
Front of the line.
Shoot.
Kendrick
Lamar.
I'd vote for Kendrick.
Michael Jordan.
You vote for Michael Jordan?
Over Stephen A. Smith.
I don't know, man. I saw the way he ran the Charlotte.
True, but that's 3.
Okay.
Pat Riley.
Ooh, heat culture in the United States. That'd be interesting. One thing about hiring Pat Riley, the United States would be in the best shape it's ever been.
Yeah, there'll be
I'm not
some
talking
really
about
good.
health-wise.
Yeah,
I'm talking about
there's
health-wise.
going to be some strong
Right.
exercise programs in
Right.
schools.
Like if you're on food stamps,
you don't have to work out for those food
You
stamps.
have to work out for those food stamps. There'll be a weight check every month for food
5th,
stamps.
Richard Pryor in his grave.
It is grave.
Yes, I would go.
Which Richard Pryor are you talking about? Are you talking about Harlem Nights, I've Been Delivered Richard Pryor, or 70s coked up Richard Pryor? 70s coked up brothel Richard Pryor.
Probably that one.
That's the more interesting one.
It's more fun.
Definitely more fun. Definitely more fun.
That was
Pryor
5.
was never not a good time, was he? He was
No.
always a good time.
Mm-hmm. Jamel Hill, if we still want to keep going.
Oh, you know what? I'm here for a Jamel Hill presidency.
I'm actually just doing the funny ones, but I'm like, obviously, Cory Booker, Michelle Obama, and Andy Bashir are far more qualified to be president than Stephen A. Smith. But
I don't even know why we're even like this dude. Come on, man. Just stop.
At this point in time, though, I mean,
I don't know if there's a bigger.
it's a reality star that's the president now, so you can't can't take anything for granted.
I don't know if there's a bigger troll on planet Earth right now. And listen, it has earned him $100 million, so I can't knock the hustle. But Stephen A. Smith is the king of the trolls right now. Like he is, he's the king of the trolls.
He's a 6'4" troll, and he's 6'4", right?
No, he's not 6'4". He likes to say that he is, but I don't think
have you seen Stephen A. in person?
Yes.
Stephen A. is taller than you think. In person, I've seen him in person. Stephen A. is taller than you think.
He's 6'4". You think he's 6'4"?
He may be 6'2", He's somewhere between 6'2" and 6'4".
I was thinking 6'2", maybe, but okay.
He's taller than you think.
All right. I'll give you a bit of down. Can we give out some love real quick? That I didn't even know was going on. The homie Haley Van Lith.
I was gonna shout that out.
Sports Illustrated swimsuit edition. I was like, really?
Looks amazing. Shout out to Haley.
It's not a bad picture. I mean, it's
You've
not
only
a
seen
bad
one?
picture.
You only seen one?
I haven't seen the whole thing. Have you seen the whole thing?
I've seen multiple pictures. Yes.
Okay. What is you're far better qualified to answer this question. Because I only saw the cover and like one bathing suit picture. So were you impressed with what you? I don't know. This is a very fine line question.
It's a very fine line. I'll just leave it at congratulations to Haley. The pictures are stunning. And
there you go, stunning. That's the
pictures
statement you want to make. The pictures were stunning
and happy for her, but she looks happy. And that's the most important part. She looks like she's in a better place right now. Yeah. And so as a person who covered her for 3 years at Louisville, her freshman year was the COVID year, so we never even really talked to her. And then the last 2 years and going in the tournament and all that stuff, got to talk to her a bit. And she's fine. She's a good person. I'm a fan of hers, and so I'm just happy to see that she's gotten whatever she's needed to feel, like she's happy.
She's happy. So there you go. All right. So yeah, Haley Van Lith. Other people that are in the of note, especially of sports note, Jordan Childs is in it. Cameron Brink is in it. Gabby Thomas, Suni Lee. So a lot of notable.
Big Gabby Thomas fan.
I am a big Gabby Thomas fan. She seems like cool people.
Cool and super intelligent.
Super intelligent.
Yeah, don't let track star fool you. That girl is smart.
Right.
That girl is super intelligent and beautiful. So shout out to her.
So interestingly, we live in
As
a
if that
world
last
now.
segment wasn't interesting enough.
Listen.
The tap dancing in that one.
We're just getting started, because if you thought that was a tap dance, hold my beer for real. I think it's this week or it's next week, but Too Short has a movie coming out.
I keep seeing Freaky Tales. I didn't know Too Short had anything to do with it.
It's his movie. I think
Lord.
he put the dough up for it. So now here's what's interesting about it. It's not what you think.
Is it a horror movie?
No. It's so the premise of the movie is, and it's one of the craziest premises I think I've ever seen. There is a night where a guy paid by, I think, Pascal, I forget his last name, but he's really well-known actor. Pascal, I think, is his first name. But he is paid.
Pascal, I think of Siakam. So
that's what I think, Siakam, but it's not Siakam. It's not Siakam. But I'll go ahead and find the cast list of the thing. But it's so the premise is Pedro Pascal. That's what it is. Okay. All right. So there's a night in whatever time in the 70s where Sleepy Floyd, a group of guys are going to rob Sleepy Floyd, the basketball player. I'm not even kidding. And by the way, I've heard that this is based on a true story. I don't know if it's all like.
It sounds kind of like that Kevin Hart vehicle that was on Peacock. That was actually pretty good.
It is very much like that Fight Night thing, but it's
yeah.
So Sleepy Floyd apparently is not only a great basketball player, but was also a martial artist expert. So, and could handle a sword. So all of these people involved in this story are trying to figure out how to rob Sleepy Floyd, or it's a weird convoluted, but they call the thing Freaky Tales, and somehow the Freaky Tales that we know is woven into the story, because I think Too Short is like the narrator and also executive producer of the movie.
I can see him being, because he's narrated some stuff before, because he has a very interesting voice and a very interesting delivery that I like. Yeah. And so I've heard him narrate some other stuff. So it could be something. I'm not going to the theater to watch it, but
I will not do that. I will not do that. But it went to Sundance and did very well. Like I think it won a bunch of awards at Sundance, and I'm like, I just didn't think a movie with Too Short's Freaky Tales would ever be made. That's weird to me, but okay.
Not for a regular genre.
If you know the song, then the Freaky Tales that we were thinking is wildly different than the premise. That's all we're saying.
These are the tales that we tell so well.
So well. Speaking of music, I did hear the Will Smith album.
I haven't checked it out.
I've not checked it out. Okay, I did get to. I promised the people I'd listen. I listened.
I had a feeling.
No.
I had a feeling. I had a feeling.
So okay. So it's a hard thing to describe because it is very much a Will Smith album, but not really a Will Smith album. It's I don't even know how to describe. So y'all remember when Will slapped Chris Rock?
Who could forget?
He's still dealing with that. Like he's still struggling with the complexities of that, and also everything else that he's dealing with in his life. I love. First of all, let me be very clear. I'm a Will Smith guy. I've always loved Will Smith. I'm a fan of both his music and his movies. Having said that, this feels very much like a cry for help. Like I don't. It's because now there's some bangers on here. Bulletproof, phenomenal, featuring Jack Ross. Love that song. Beautiful Scars is pretty good. Tantrum with Joyner Lucas, really good. Didn't need. I get that you can make it with the Sunday service preachy song. Didn't really need that, but because I don't necessarily need Will Smith giving me advice anymore. I'm good on that.
Right.
But at the same time,
If you listen to his book, it's a lot of that.
right? It's a lot. I get why you do it because you have a journey, you have a story. I get it. But I also need you to
And
work
Hollywood
on,
ego.
yeah. I need you to work on some. I need you to work privately though with some of it though, like because the you know how rappers brag about what they are and what they can do, and normally it doesn't bother you when they brag about being the best or being. It feels cringy because in the backdrop of him bragging and telling us that he's an icon and this and all the other is the replaying occurrence of him slapping the dog-ish out of Chris Rock.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the whole time you're hearing it, you're like, I don't know if I said that, but I mean, you said it, and so I get it. I felt wildly uncomfortable listening to this album, if I'm being completely honest. Like, it's just the whole time, because it's Will doing Will stuff, but it's like, I don't know if you should be. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how to reconcile Will Smith. That's what I'm really saying.
Right.
I don't know how to reconcile who he now is because the all of the mask and all that stuff is gone now.
Mm-hmm.
And I know who you are is not who you keep presenting.
Mm-hmm.
And ironically, the album is called Based on a True Story. But I don't feel like I'm getting the truth.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm just getting the version that you want to tell me.
Well, that's what you was gonna get.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's okay. If that's what you're not prepared to give us the real truth. I get it.
He's
But
still
it'd be
doing.
nice.
Will's very, very complex. Just leave it at that. I didn't realize it until the book, and I'm like, there's a lot going on there.
A lot of he is the definition of an onion. There are a lot of layers.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. And
Yep.
it's more complex the more you keep peeling back. He made a statement on Drink Champs. You know how they do the choose thing, you have to drink if you he said Nori said Jay-Z or Nas. And he gave one of the most complicated answers I think I've ever heard anybody say. He says, I have a relationship with Jay-Z. That's my guy. But I'm picking Nas because Nas challenges my mind and makes me right. And it makes me right. And I was like, what? Like, I don't, what? It was so convoluted. And I'm going, are you hearing it? Like, maybe you're not hearing it. I hear it. I don't know if you're hearing it.
Will's is very Hollywood. A lot of what he says and does is just very Hollywood ego.
Do you think it's Hollywood?
Yes, a lot of it is.
Because the more
You give a lot of phony fluff answers.
Phony fluff answers. I'm going to say what you said, but I'm going to say it differently. As you would think on the other side of the slap, it would have been freeing so that he could be his authentic self. I think he is more terrified to be his authentic self now than he was before the slap.
Yeah, because now it's trying to win people back mode now.
But why? You're not. There are some people that are never going to forgive you for slapping that man, up to and including Chris Rock, right?
Mm-hmm.
So why not just be whatever version that's supposed to come out of? Listen, Chris Brown to me is a mess. But the one thing you can say about Chris Brown
is Chris Brown.
Right. After
he's authentically thing, Chris Brown.
Like, I'll be the villain the rest of my life. This is who I'll be. So this is what I'm going to be. And if that's the choice you choose to make, that's fine. But whatever version you decide to be, just be that.
Yeah.
And the rest of us will adjust. And I just feel like Will is like, no, I like being this guy, the guy that we can all count on, and he'll give you great
Fresh
advice.
Prince, and yeah.
But you're not that anymore. You're never going to be that to anyone ever again. Because you slapped a grown man on national TV in front of 1 billion people. So you can't be him anymore.
All right.
You can't. So the album sounds like that.
And he's coming to grips too. That when's the last good Will Smith movie?
Oh, Bad Boys 2 was pretty good, I guess. Or Bad Boys 3. Is it 3 or 4? Wherever Bad Boys were on, it was okay. I liked it. I thought it was
Okay,
good.
they're okay.
Yeah, it wasn't like one of the greatest
Like
things I've ever seen. No.
good. I mean, good blockbuster Will Smith. When's the last time? It's been at least 20, 25 years.
Yeah. That's
Since Men in Black, maybe. I mean,
there's some slippage.
yeah, and he's taking on
I'll
some
say this: the Bad
bad
Boys
roles.
before this one was way better than this last
I didn't watch the last one yet. Part of it
It's
too is
worth-
it's hard for me to watch it because Martin's not Martin. You know what I mean?
He was pretty funny in this one.
Is he? Because the last
In
one
fact,
he was a shell of himself.
In fact, I would argue that he saved this one.
Okay.
Yeah, I would make a strong argument that he saved this one because he was more Martin in this one than he was in the previous one,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
When Will was getting shot and all that stuff, and he got back to the funny in this one. So that made it palatable. Because without that, it's again an uncomfortable.
And it's a thing. It's just hard for me to watch Martin now anyway, just because he's just it's not the same energy.
Well, we get older. I mean,
It's not even that. I mean, I know he had the stroke and all, so it's what makes it hard.
So you
because-
keep saying he didn't have it. Have you seen those
Something
videos?
happened to him because Martin was bouncing off the wall, high energy. Fun. That's what made Martin because he was just a high energy dude, and like now every time you see him, he looks sedated. And so
He
something
never-
happened.
He has never said he has not had a health issue, but he said it. I saw him on the Breakfast Club or something. He said, "I didn't have a stroke. I don't know why people keep saying that." And I'm like, "You've had something. You don't have to reveal it to us, but
Right.
you're not going to sit here. We're not stupid, Martin. We know that something has happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's I don't know. Like I said, you can listen to it. Anybody that wants to listen to it, you can listen to it. Come to your own conclusion. For me, it was very cringy.
Mm.
I there are parts that I like. There are parts that are like even the skits are cringy to me.
Mm-hmm.
The Reverend is one of the skits. Like he plays a Reverend and then he's cussing on it on the album. Which is
Really?
weird. Yeah.
But it's
like,
always been weird because he would cuss in movies, but he wouldn't cuss
Cuss-
on albums.
violently in movies, like
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
Yeah.
But won't cuss on the album. But I guess he's over that because he's cussing on this. Now he's not cussing on every track. Like I think he may have cussed on like a couple of tracks, but he definitely cusses on the very first track because it's a skit.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Listen for yourself.
Yeah. I'll get to it.
I got it. I don't have a new recommendation for a new album coming out, so y'all just have to let us know if there's something, or we'll just keep eyes on whatever for the next album review, I guess. But yeah, that's it. I don't have anything else. Do you have anything? Did I miss anything
I don't have anything. Just
from the other
I
stuff?
just got my notification that patio guy's outside, so that's good.
All
but
right, well, there you go.
No, we're good.
Well, then who you shouting out? That's the real question. From Press Row, who you shouting out?
I will shout out. I'll shout out my girl Jada. She texted me back yesterday, Jada Curry. No, I ain't talking about nothing. She got some T-shirts for me from her NIL line, and so just shout out to her, just being the good person she is. Listen, she ended her college career as well as you could. If you don't win the game, at least you go for 41 points.
Yeah.
And so she on to the next stage of her career. She's hoping to be drafted in the WNBA. I'm praying that she does, and just go on for that. Just shout out to Jada.
I love Jada. I think she's amazing. I think she could contribute something to somebody's WNBA team
Oh, and a real quick shout out to the 3 McDonald's All-Americans from Kentucky because, well, of course, Leah Macy couldn't play because she has a knee injury, but Zakiya Johnson and Malachi Moreno played, and they both played well. Z had a big second quarter in their game, and Malachi Moreno played really well, especially in the scrimmage, and he stepped out, hit a corner 3 in the game. So shout out to them too. I was on a podcast on Saturday with Malachi's high school coach, and so yeah, good dude, good guy. Malachi's a great kid, and so just shout out to them too.
All right. For me, I definitely want to give a shout out also to Jada. I'm a fan as well. Very proud of her and all that she has accomplished. I want to also give a shout out to Paige Beckers because that was the perfect ending to what was a very challenging college career. Like she went through, and if you've kept up with Paige Beckers, you know she is really a phenomenal young lady, and deserves everything that she is, and has earned everything she's gotten. But boy, it would have been very incomplete had she not won a championship. And so she marked that off and put her name in the UConn rafters of some of the greats ever to play there. So I want to give a shout out to Paige Beckers. And then, listen, shout out to Florida for, I don't know how you pulled that off, but pulling it off, like that was wild. But they did it.
They did it.
They did it. They did it. So there you go. All right. That's all we got for today. When we come back, the play-in games will probably be about to start, as well as everything else playoffs. So we'll have all of it, playoff previews for you next week. And we'll have our predictions of postseason. And we'll have all of that next week on the Press and Pros. That is Kendrick Haskins. He is amazing. And his patio guy is outside. and I'm Lloyd Spence. I hope you enjoyed yourself because we enjoyed giving it to you. We'll see you next time.
Y'all, we got it. Scoop and 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 y'all, we got it.
That's